Well, hello, my little potato, you beautiful soul. You know, I always like to start off with I love you, so I love you. Today was today was a very quiet, nah, a very quiet day. I wouldn't say it was very exciting, but I don't need think that every day has to be exciting. And as you know, I kind of can go a long way, a long time between exciting days. Hmm. Except I do have a bunch of exciting days that are coming up because I have a lot of travel in the next few weeks, right? Um, So I had today was I would think I mean I woke up at like 10 or 11, but I went to sleep at like I want to say I went to sleep at like 3 or 4 in the morning. Maybe I don't remember. And then I my phone is on its last legs. I will have to be getting a new phone this year. I put my phone on the charger last night and I woke up and it was 75%. I don't know how that happens. Um, and then what else is there? Okay, so today I recorded 2 chapters of The Secret Garden, one of which was very long. It took me like half an hour. It was a 32-minute recording. So it took me probably that one was 32 minutes, the other one was probably like 40 minutes. So it still took me about an hour to record and upload those to YouTube and TikTok. And then I was talking on my, and then I made lunch today and I was on the phone with my friend while I was making lunch and we were talking about stories and I was telling her like little things about, um, about life and stuff. We were just talking and stuff. And then I was on the phone with her. And so there was this person on my TikTok that had messaged me a few months ago and they said, hey, you said you used to record Joy audios. Do you still have those? And I said, yeah. And so I sent it to him, which was against my better judgment, but I sent it to him. And I remembered why I don't send it to people. It's because, yes, that was part of my life, but when the way people tend to, I don't know, and maybe, I don't want to say, okay, I don't want to say people, but except it is people, because whenever I send it to someone, they end up kind of being a little weird afterwards and they start to kind of creep me out. So this person, I sent it to them a few weeks ago. And then I said, I just joked around and I said, oh, that must make you see me differently. And they said, oh, I kind of we already saw you sexually. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I suppose it's a compliment, right? And then I just kind of like, and then a few days ago, they messaged me and they said, um, I miss us. And I was so confused because to me, there was never an us. Like, this person and I just briefly, like, he messaged me on TikTok just a little bit, like, and he does follow me and I don't know. So there was kind of like this very strange, I don't know what was going on there. And so he just said, I miss us. And I didn't respond and I read it and I just said, okay. And I left it. Well, then today he messaged me on TikTok and he sends me a video from someone who's here in the Houston area and she needs help. And she miscalculated. She thought that the 15th was on Monday. And so she was making her food stretch onto the 15th because she's on food stamps. And so she was making it stretch until the 15th and all of that. But then she realized that the 15th is on Wednesday instead of Monday. And it kind of crushed her, right? So she made a video asking for help. And so he sent me this video and he said, is there anything that you can do? And I looked at the video and on TikTok, when someone you follow reposts a video, it shows you so and so reposted this video. And typically their comment is the first one that you see. And so I looked and he didn't comment, he didn't repost because there was no activity on there. And yet he sent it to me. And so what I did was I don't have a lot of money, as you know, right? So what I did was I comment there were like two people that had already commented, so I replied to their comments, so then there could be more comments, and then I put a bunch of other comments, right? So this person, I was asking her like all kinds of things, so like and drive up her engagement so more people would see it. And eventually I did say, you know what, I can, I don't have a lot of money, but I was like, I will give her $10. So I went to Venmo to give her $10 because PayPal is going to charge me 59 cents, and like I'm sorry but I'm not paying to anything extra, so I'm about no fees, so I'm not doing PayPal. Like the limit is $10. That's $10, and I know it sounds so trifling to be like, oh, 50, you could just, if it's $10 you can send $10 and you can send 59 cents. No, when you don't have like the 59 cents, it makes a difference, and it sounds so silly but it's true. And so I messaged her, I commented back on her TikTok twice, and I said, hey, I need the last four of your phone number to send you money on Venmo. And she never responded. So I'm like, okay, well, what can I do? So I went back to him and I said, you could have commented and reposted. If you really wanted to help her, you could have commented and reposted. And he goes, no, I don't have to do that because commenting and doesn't do anything, and neither does reposting. And I don't have any money anyways. And I just was like, do you know how social media works? Social media works in that the algorithm says if you comment and if you repost, it works so other people can see it. And there are plenty of people, I see it on social media all the time, that write, I don't have any money at this time, but what I can do is I can at least comment so other people can see your post. And he couldn't even do that. And he doubled down on it. And he was like, no, I don't have money. I don't comment because, and I don't repost. And I said, you know what? And the him being like sexual with me and all of that I didn't block him for that, even though people said I should, because I was trying to, give him some credit because he is awkward. Very awkward, I will say. And actually what I said was that awkward is one thing, but awkward is his, like, I think I said awkward is his third cousin twice removed. I'm like, all you had to do was comment. All you had to do, even if you don't even have to say, you could just comment and say, I'm just commenting so other people can see your post. Good luck to you, blessings. That's all you had to say. It doesn't have to mention about your situation. He could have hit the repost button, but instead he's like, oh, I know, let me send it to her. And I'm like, excuse me? And so from that, I got so upset because if you wait until you like I get, there's times when I don't have money, but I still give to people, right? I'm like, well, if I don't do this, then if I give up this, then I can make it work, right? So I don't, right? I don't have a lot of money. I don't know when my next money is coming in, but I said, well, I can do this. I'll make this work. Am I supposed to just? And so I said, you know what? And I got upset and I said, if you are on my page and you're someone who you see someone else's post and you can't even comment to help that person or even hit the repost button or hit the like button, something, get off my page. I don't want you here. And I get it, but if you always wait until you have, if you wait for the perfect moment to help someone, there will never be a perfect moment because something else will always get in the way. And I understand that not everybody thinks like me, but if you're on social media and you are like, and like everyone else, and so I said to him, I was like, oh, I wasn't aware that you were the exception to the rule, that, because you chose not to comment and because you chose not to repost, that you were the exception. Oh, wasn't aware there was exceptions. And I just was like, you know what? Block. And I went on a rant and I just made a video on TikTok about it. And people are like, I have blocked for a lot less. And I think part of it also is that I grew up a people pleaser, and people pleasers, honestly, people pleasers are not always kind. It's a trauma response that you do the thing that makes people happy and pleasing. And I'm like, and I'm here and I understand that I have that tendency, right? Because I have people pleasing response, people form I'm a recovering people pleaser. But it doesn't mean that I can't be kind to someone. And I don't even know if reposting is really that kind, but it is, right? Because you're doing that. And when I saw that, I said, you know what? That's a low effort person. And I am not a I'm not a low effort person. I put a lot of effort into things, and all I want from people, like, I understand that not everyone is the same and everything, and I work on giving people credit for things, but you couldn't even hit the repost button. You couldn't even hit the repost button. And I thought, I don't want that person on my page. Because, you can give, you're like, oh, I can only help when I have money. It doesn't work that way. You give when you can. And it's something that's not even like difficult. It's so simple. And that's what boggled my mind today. I just was like, nope, bye. But in other news, that was a really long rant. I turned in my homework today. I don't know that it was that great. My assessment is due this week. I plan on turning it in on Wednesday. I wrote that in for Wednesday that I'm going to be turning in my assessment because I'm going to be out of town and I don't really know like the whole situation, and I don't want my dad to be in the room when I'm recording my assessment. And so all of that. And then I can go to California and have a clear mind. And my coloring books are coming tomorrow, so that's positive. I did not realize that the reason I could not link products in my TikTok shop is because my I have a business, I had a brand account and I needed my account to be a marketing account. So I unlinked my personal account from my brand and I created a brand account today. So that way my shop can be in there. I somehow need to fix that. I don't know what all entails, but I'm working on that. So I started that process today. And then I was talking to my friends last night. I wanted to tell you about this because I had a dream about it. And I don't typically recall my dreams. Is that I had a dream last night that I was in the store and I saw this hoodie on a shelf. And I picked up the hoodie and I tried it on. It was a kids section. It was from the kids section. And I know because the front of it was a zip up hoodie and it said Gap Kids. And I remember thinking, what a strange. And then I did, but I remember in my dream, I was asking, I was like, can I get this? And it was like, no. And so I didn't get it. And and I woke up and I was like, why in the world? What is this dream about? Like, why in the world would I dream about that? And my friend goes, oh, maybe it's about not buying things unless you need them. And then someone else offered the translation that maybe it was, hold on, let me find it. Putting the stars and flower made her feel very hopeful, but me being told no and putting it back makes me wonder if I may be denying myself something I genuinely want or feel like I don't deserve. And while I don't know what that is, I'm still working on figuring that out. And I think that's part of it. Maybe part of it is deserving happiness and like deserving the right to block as I please. Maybe that's what today was about. Was what do I deserve? And I deserve happiness too. I deserve to have boundaries and I deserve to have respect and I deserve to be able to run my life in the way that I want to, as much as I can, actually. So that's really all I got for you. So thanks for listening to my rant. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. And thank you again for listening. I love you. And I'll talk to you tomorrow.